Welcome back. We are doing an airboat rigging. This thing, I just pulled it out of the oven. I set the oven at 390. It's in there 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes. A lot of this stuff gets water in it. I try to dry it as I go. All right, now what we're going after now is a hot coat, and I don't have my light hat. Big sin, big sin. Going in there blind like Stevie Wonder. Just in there blind like old Stevie Wonder. Won't be able to see nothing. All right, now we're light-hatted up. We're gonna go through here and just real quick, get it in the areas that are gonna kind of be weird. You notice how it's coming out of the gun purple, then it goes on the part and it turns silver? Yeah. That's what it does. So really at this point, we're just going around trying to get the areas that are Faraday cages is the technical name for them. I call them pain in the butts. Sometimes there's a lot of those on airboats. This is the battery bracket. It's actually aluminum. We got that thing all sprayed up on that side. And like I said, we're not really trying to make a masterpiece here. Just a quick coat. It's all you need. You don't need much of nothing. And then you can go back to the areas where you didn't put anything on. And if it's hot enough, it'll melt. And if it's not hot enough, it won't melt. But I still like to coat the rest of it while there's heat in the part. Don't just walk away from it with some of it there. You know what I mean? When it's still warm. Because I don't like to spray any material at all with the metal cold. It doesn't matter if it's already got a coat on it. If it doesn't have a coat on it, I like to have 120 to 150 degrees of heat in the part. It just works better. The electrostatic part of it works better. If you get in the habit of that, I mean, even I'll do this. Sometimes I will base something the day before. So like right before I go home, I'll base something. I'll have the base on it and I'll be done. Well, I'm not going to spray it that day, so I go home. I come back in the next morning, it's bone cold. It don't get no colder than that. So what I do is I throw it back in the oven and get a little, put a little heat on it. And then I coat it when it's got a little heat on it. So you don't necessarily have to catch it on the downstroke. It's faster if you catch it on the downstroke. What I mean by the downstroke is it coming off its heat. If you can have it sitting out there in the shop, and catch it when it's 130 and roll it in here and second coat it, well, by all means, I do that because it's faster. It's already hot. You don't have to. But the point of what I was saying was I like to have a little heat in there, and I'll actually put heat back in it if I have to. All right, so we got the first coat on. We're going to pause here and let it cool. You can make the mistake here of continuing to spray it all and getting too much on, because the film thickness will just build and build and build when there's heat in it. That's part of why you see the looks that I get with clear, because I put clear on it when the part's still 120, 140, 150 degrees, and it builds a little more, and it doesn't cause electrostatic problems as easy. And the moral of the story today is keep a little heat in the part when you're spraying it. You could, talk the Prismatic to your blue in the face, and then next thing you know, 15 years later, they tell you, oh, guess what? Don't spray anything cold. I appreciate you telling me that now. I figured it out many, many moons ago. I mean, it's not hard to figure out. When you're in a job shop and you're in a hurry and you're waiting for something to cool and you start spraying it at 130 and then you pull it out and it is bad to the bone, you're like, I wonder why that happened. And then you have something cold and it's not so badass. And you're just like, I wonder what's going on here. Well, if you think about what's happening and what you're getting, you can figure all this stuff out on your own. It's not really that difficult to figure out. But what I'm here to do is to give you all the tips that I've learned over 30 years as I go. It's hard for me to sit down and just remember every tip and tell it to you. But as I do things, of course, I remember the tips, and if I do a video on it, I out the mouth, and next thing you know, the whole world knows all my secrets, which is okay, I guess. I don't care anymore. I used to care. I don't care anymore. Know it all. I don't care. It doesn't matter. What I figured out is, doesn't matter how many people know how I do it, people are still coming in that door, and I can't stop them from doing it. I don't want to stop them from doing it, but I'm just saying, you know, it's, don't worry about your competition, man. Worry about what you do. Do you make it so you're happy with it, and your customers are happy with it, and forget about the noise. Don't worry about the noise. Don't worry about the guy down the street, what he charges. Don't worry about that. You charge what it costs to do it in your shop. Don't worry about what he's charging. That's just the way it is. And eventually you'll come into a niche of your own. All right, well, we're gonna pause it here for a minute, and then I'll come back when this stuff cools off a little bit more, and we'll dust it up, throw it in the oven, we'll put some clear on it, and we'll call it a day. I'm gonna show you the rest of the stuff. This is very little bit of the stuff, but what I'm doing here is I'm trying to do a small set of parts so you guys can follow it through the process and see it in the end. What I'm going to start doing though is I'm going to start mixing in I call them glamour shots at the end of the video of the rest of the pieces. So you'll see the rigging, which is a big piece. It's in that oven. It's already done. You'll see all that coming up at the end of the video. All right. We'll be back here in a few. All right. We're back. It's probably cooled down to pretty cool. We're ready to go. I might help if I put the ground off there. I mean, how many times have you seen this work good without that? I mean, it does. Don't get me wrong. You can do it without the ground, but not what I like to do. Now, if you'll notice, it's going on purple now. See how it's not melting? And basically all we're doing is covering up the shine from the previous coat, making sure that we got it covered, and then we're moving on. You got to make sure you maintain your gun distance, make everybody happy, get a good cover where you don't see no shinies. Sometimes I'll work both sides of the part, and sometimes I'll walk down just all depends on what I'm doing. There's only 3 parts on here. So I'm kind of spraying the parts in their entirety as I go. I don't always do that when I have a cart full of stuff like this. Sometimes I just go down this side like this. I'll do this one and then this one. And then I'll go to the inside of the cart and spray the other side. Just all depends. You just got to remember what you did, because a big no-no is not going to the other side. Even though it's electrostatic and it looks like it's doing it, it will not be as thick on the back side as it is on the front. So that's kind of the reason I spray it from both sides no matter what. I've seen some pretty hideous stuff that you could tell was only sprayed from one side, and I was like, oh, it just was a walk around the other side to make this nice. They didn't do it. The old purple nurple. This is a nice color though. I really like it. It really is nice when it's done. It takes a little bit of skill to pull it off. It's not like a day one color. I wouldn't cut like a fresh powder coat or loose on this in my shop for sure. Not without major observation. The clear is the more, I don't want to call it harder, but there's a couple of ways you can screw this up. Let me just go ahead and tell you that. One is not getting enough base coat on it, and it'll be light and dark in spots, okay? And 2 is not getting the clear coat on it to cover it everywhere, and it'll have light and dark spots. And it's kind of hard to figure out which one's causing your problem sometimes, to be honest with you. But like I was saying before that turd camera interrupted me, it's hard to tell which one's light when you're having problems sometimes. But if you double coat the base, it's just a way to ensure that you have enough purple on there. And this isn't really double coating it, but it's enough on there that I know that there's enough purple down to turn the clear. That's really all you're looking for. I know there's enough down because I put one coat on it and it melted. So that isn't going anywhere. That's on there, right? And then I'm going to put another coat on top of it without curing it. That's what I call an ollie double. Okay, it doesn't go in the oven. It doesn't get any heat. It doesn't do any of that. You just pull it out hot, put your coat on it, back in the oven she goes. There's a couple of problem childs on the inside of here, just to tell you. I got them, but they want to try to be difficult. Why wouldn't they be? I mean, the year's almost over. Why wouldn't they just be difficult? You know, that's the way it works. Everything goes great all year. The last 2 days of the year, it all goes to shit. Not really. I don't want it to go to shit. I like it the way it is. All right, the old Super Nurple's about done with the base. And we're going to throw her in the oven, pull her on up to about 350-ish, 330, 350, somewhere in that range is a good spot. We'll pull it up to that range, and then we will pull it out, let it cool, and clear it. All right, it looks like I got all them spots pretty good. This thing's hard to get in these areas. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's why a lot of people hate airboats. You just gotta embrace the suck. You know, that's just all there is to it. You just gotta be like, this sucks, but I love it. And just do it. That's what I do. And somehow they always turn out pretty damn nice. I impress myself. I did it the other day when I did this purple rigging. Man, this just fraught with peril. I pulled that thing out of the oven. I was like, oh my God, it's beautiful. I mean, it is so nice. It come out good. This is the first time I think I've done Illusion Purple with the new clear that I still can't tell you what it is yet. But that's going to come to a close here very shortly because they're either going to shit or get off the pot, and I'm going to tell you what it is. I've been holding out for like 6 months, not telling you what clear I'm using because I can't. I got a pretty cool dude that turned me on to it, and I just can't. He asked me not to do it, and I'm not going to do it. But damn, I would love for you guys to be using this same clear, and you could tell me how you like it because, man, is it nice. I can't use anything else, man. I tried. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, the Clear Vision is crap. It is crap. It is terrible compared to this clear. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, if you use this clear and you're using Clear Vision, you will take that Clear Vision straight to the dumpster and throw it in the dumpster, and you will never use it again. I'm just telling you, that's what I did. I did exactly that. I didn't want to accidentally put that clear in my hopper again. I was like, oh no, we got to get rid of this dude. It got to go out the shop. You know you're in trouble when you get thrown out of the shop. All right, well, that's it for the base. We're going to throw this in the oven and flash it up to 350, 330, 350, somewhere in that range is nice. And then we'll come back and show you what it looks like. All right, guys, we're back. It's cooled down out of the oven. This gives you an idea of what it looks like. Does that look purple to you? No, doesn't look purple to me either. It has like a purple hue to it, let's say. If you squint your eyes real hard and look, it's purple, but it is not purple. But it is very purple, believe it or not. When you put the clear on it, it comes out, it's very purple, as you will see here in a little bit. But that gives you an idea of what we got going there. That's the base coat sprayed, and we're gonna go back and do the clear here in a minute. All right, guys, we're back to put the clear on. Test fired my gun already. Maybe we could turn the light hat on so we can see what we're doing. Watch some old Estes. All right, and all we're doing is covering the shine up. Now, this is where you have to maintain your gun distance and be on your P's and Q's. Let the gun do the work. It is an electrostatic process. Keep that in mind. You are not spraying it on. You are just fluffing it out there. You are a glorified fluffer. I know you don't like to hear that, but that's how it is. Keep that in mind, and you'll do a little better because you got to wait on the charge to do its thing. It doesn't happen instantly. You have to have a little cloud of powder around the part and it'll attract to it, so long as everything's set up right. And this is one of those times where I'm going to go down the outside and then down the inside. Now, once you have it marshmallowed up pretty good and you've watched it go on fairly evenly, you're done. But that's, you know, once you don't see any more silver or any more shininess, you got it. And make sure you spray it from both sides. Don't try to, I realize it's just a small round tube and you think it's going to coat from both sides, but the film thickness will not be even if you don't coat it from both sides. It will not do it. All right, let's go ahead and do Big Dogger. Actually, I probably should have done that before I sprayed these so I don't back into it 14 times, which is probably what's going to happen. But I tell you what, sometimes when you spray parts like this that are all intertwined, it's hard to maintain the gun distance that you need. But, you know, that's the allure to it, I guess, is you got to find a way to get it to go on without getting the gun too close. Because the part doesn't give a damn, to be honest with you. It doesn't really care. I've tried to get the part to care in the past and it just won't do it. It won't do it. You just got to give your clear and your gun a little time to do the work, and it'll take to it. All right, how many times did I run into this? Well, look at there, none. Wow. You notice how this thing is getting coated too just by the overspray? I didn't one time point the gun at that. And it's almost done. That's why, another thing I'll tell you, most of the time it's better to spray the opposite way that the fan's moving. Okay, but what I mean by that is this is pulling the powder in, right? So if you start at this end of the cart, all of your overspray goes by the other two parts and pretty much coats them before you get there. So that's another thing is, you know, the order in which you attack it will matter a lot sometimes in the results that you get. Once you get enough experience doing this, you know what order you want to do it in. You know, at least you got a pretty good idea. You might not know, but you got a pretty good idea what you're trying to get after. And what I'm doing here is I'm going around this at all different angles. See that, how I went around it? Well, when you do that, it gets, see, there's like a little spot right there where it don't want to go in there. If I try to shoot straight at it, it's never going. That's not going to happen, okay? You're going to go indirect at it, okay? I see a spot right here that ain't great, okay? I'm going to come over here and go around the whole thing indirectly. See if I can get another angle at it. I'll tell you another thing that works good sometimes. See, you got the fan. Use this part of the fan and wisp up to where it won't go. You know, just use the edge of it. And it, believe it or not, that works pretty good. It was able to cover all of those spots there that I didn't like. And this thing's almost coated already. I mean, seriously. I never sprayed a thing at it. It took about that to finish it. This is a battery bracket that's on the end. You've never seen a battery look so good being held down. Maybe, if we're lucky. All right, so it looks like I got everything covered. Okay, that's what it looks like. But we don't know that. We're gonna go to this side and spray the back of this that we did not do. Not that there was any bare spots on it, but I already know I didn't do it from this side, so I want to. All right, so now what we do is we do a little darkness action. I definitely like to do this when the colors aren't contrasting. What I mean by that is you got silver and you're basically putting white on top of it. Okay, so sometimes it's hard to see that you don't have it covered. But if you turn the lights out and look at it with a light on your head, it's easy to see. And this is the time right here that will save you many, many headaches. Because if you make sure that you have it now completely covered. There's no holidays. There's no goofiness, trash, anything like that. You nailed it. You're done. You wrap this up and you call it a day, and my light hat's going to go off on me. It's giving me the warning. You're fixing to be in the dark, buddy. Oh yeah, she's covered everywhere. Nice, nice, nice. All in the nooks, all in the crannies. Yep. Okay, we're gonna push this in the oven. Oh, just to tell you, I don't know if I told you this or not. We were in there. Let me turn this light back on. We were in the oven 8 minutes is what it took to get this to 354 is what it was when I pulled it out. So just to give you an idea, this thickness of tubing, which isn't very thick, you can see it's, you know, probably 16 gauge tubing, I would imagine what it is. It took 8 minutes to get to 354, okay? And that's valuable information because now that I know it took 8 minutes to get to 354, I can figure out my cure time very easily by adding the 18 minutes to that. But the problem is it only got to 354. I needed to 375. So you're going to add, let's say it took 8 minutes. So I would say, I'll set my timer for 10 minutes. I'm going to check the temp at 10 minutes. If it's 370 or higher, 370 to 375, I'm going to start my time for 18 minutes, which will put this about a 29 minute cure total is about what it's going to be. All right, we're going to put it in there. We're going to cure it up, and I will come back and do all the Glamor shots. We got more than just this to do Glamor shots on. I got the whole rigging that's all one piece. It's a South Florida style one. Had to go in the big oven. She's a big unit, big piece. All right, we'll see you here in a minute for the Glamor shots. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you watching an idiot. I appreciate that very much. And hopefully I'm not making you dumber by you watching this. That's my goal. All right, we'll see you here in a minute.